I can still hear the clock ticking. Not just ticking, echoing. When I close my eyes, I can practically see the little red hand making its rounds, stubborn, relentless, not in any rush to get me where I wanted to go. It's a sound that used to haunt me, a kind of background track to every doubt I ever had. Do you know what I'm talking about? That moment where it feels like time slows down, freezes really, and puts you face to face with everything you tried so hard to outrun? If you've been there, you know it isn't just nostalgia, it's a test. You ever have one of those moments where everything you thought you knew about yourself gets put under a spotlight? Like someone hit record and you didn't even see the camera? That was me, years ago, first semester back in college after a long break. Not just I needed a year to figure things out. I'm talking years of sidestepping what I'd convinced myself I couldn't do. And I'm not talking about the average nerves over college either. This was different. This was me going back into a battlefield with armor that still had holes, scars that still stung. See, returning wasn't just about earning a degree or ticking something off a list. It was walking straight back into an environment I'd avoided pretty much my whole adult life. You ever avoid a place because you're worried who you'll be when you step back in? That's how it felt. Not because I was lazy, but because deep down, deep in all the quiet places, I was carrying words that were never really mine. Words other people left behind, maybe even offhand, but words that grew roots. You're not cut out for this. School ain't for people like you. Why bother? Some of you know exactly what those words sound like. Maybe you heard them too. Funny thing is, sometimes it's not the strangers. Most times it's voices you know, faces you love, people too close for the words not to count. And when you hear something enough, oh man, it starts to sound like truth. That's the danger. So when I decided to go back, it wasn't bravado. It was more like a white-knuckle grip on a broken sword saying, if I don't rewrite this story now, it's gonna keep writing itself for me forever. This wasn't about academics. This was about silencing a running commentary in my head that started way before I ever had a transcript. It was about standing inside my own life, looking every old label in the eye and saying, you don't get to be the final word. So, fast forward to right now. I'm on this couch. Not one of those expensive HGTV influencer couches, just a regular old couch. There's a rip on one arm, some fries hidden under the cushions, memories of spilled drinks that I'm not proud of. It's just me, my thoughts, and a quiet room. Out there, the world's loud. Sirens, cars, people with somewhere to be. In here, stillness. It used to drive me nuts. I hated being still. It felt useless, aimless, like every second the world's doing laps around you and you're stuck at the starting line. But somewhere in all this, I realized something. The stillness didn't come easy. I used to run from it. Honestly, I was terrified of silent rooms. You ever find that the quiet is the loudest place? That's where every insecurity, every what if, every replay of what went wrong gets dialed up to max volume. I'd sit, try to read something, or pick up my phone and suddenly, boom! I'm back watching the greatest hits of every mistake on repeat. What changed for me, though, was beginning to see that this stillness isn't a timeout. It's not God hitting pause to mess with me. It's a workshop. The place where he does the best renovations, right behind the scenes, when nobody else is around. And I've learned that waiting isn't wasted. It's prepping, training, and sometimes healing. Man, let me tell you, that was the hardest lesson for me. Before I understood any of this, I was impatient. Not just antsy when the microwave wouldn't finish, real talk, spiritually impatient. If I didn't see results, if doors didn't fly open at the snap of my fingers, you might as well have told me it was never gonna happen. I'd spiral. Maybe God forgot about me. Maybe I missed my shot. Maybe I was never meant to make it. My emotional intelligence? Man, it was practically in the negatives. I didn't know how to slow down, how to pause, breathe, and see the situation for what it truly was. Every feeling, every disappointment, every little thing that stung or made me feel invisible, I let it control me. If I was hurt, I'd lash out, maybe even make it worse. If I felt left out, I'd close the door on the world. Fine, I never belonged anyway. If I heard wait, all I heard was no, and that built up over time, you know? Stack enough of those moments together, every delay feels like it's got a big red rejected stamped on your forehead. And then, that first semester back. The turning point. I still remember the feeling, walking into class with the weight of old doubts and walking out with new hope. I aced the semester, not because the work was suddenly easy, but because I finally allowed myself to approach it differently. I quit trying to run every race like someone was chasing me. For the first time, I gave myself a little grace. Broke down those monster assignments into bite-sized pieces. Asked for help without feeling like I was exposing weakness. In fact, asking for help became a power move, a way to say, I'm still here and I don't have to do it alone. And as the weeks passed, it started to click. I'm not broken. I've just been using the wrong tools. Maybe what I needed wasn't to fix myself, but to use a different strategy. You ever figure out that the thing you've been fighting with, maybe you were supposed to give it to God all along? But here's the plot twist nobody mentions. As soon as you start winning, new tests come. Life's got this way of seeing if you meant what you said, if you're really built for the breakthrough you prayed for. The waiting came. Opportunities that should have panned out, stalled, stuff I thought was a sure thing. Suddenly it's a, we'll let you know. Doors that once looked wide open, slammed shut, sometimes with no explanation. You know that feeling, right? You get momentum, and out of nowhere it's like putting your foot on the brake at 60 miles per hour. I'd be lying if I said I handled it well every time. There were moments I almost walked away, not just from the work, but from the calling, the whole plan God and I had been talking about. It's hard to keep praying for something when you don't see even a shadow of a result. But in that dark space, God didn't shout at me. He didn't write messages in the clouds. He didn't give me a dream with angel wings and a choir backing me up. He just whispered, quiet enough that I had to stop and lean in. I'm still here. I'm still working. This isn't pointless. You're not waiting for no reason. You're waiting for my timing. The quieter it got outside, the louder God seemed inside. After a while, I realized I wasn't just sitting in a holding pattern. The waiting was working on me in ways fast success never could. It was teaching me a whole new set of muscles: discipline, humility, trust. That's why I started building my brand, It Had to Be God. Because honestly, every good thing in my life, the wins, the lessons, the moments I got up after falling, all of it, that wasn't me figuring it out by myself. That was God, straight up, putting his fingerprint all over my story. From passing classes I thought I'd fail, to learning to build a brand when I didn't know which way was up, to right now, sitting here looking straight into the camera, hoping my story helps someone who feels like they're running out of time. It's all him. Every inch of progress, every luck moment, every lesson, it always points back to the fact that none of this worked out because of my own strength. It had to be God. Let me tell you about this one season, my internship at a tech firm. I went in with all these plans, stacking expectations sky high. I thought, this is it, time to prove myself. And yeah, I worked hard. But what I didn't expect was how much I'd learn about my own rough edges, the parts of me that needed more work. Late nights when my eyelids felt like bricks, but I still kept going. Mornings when I'd rather sleep, but still rolled in, coffee in hand, smile on my face. Feedback that felt more like a punch than a pat on the back? It stung, not gonna lie, but man, it made me sharper. Revealed what still needed chiseling. God kept whispering, I'm not just building skills, I'm building your spirit, endurance, humility, gratitude. Showed me, sometimes you don't know what you're made of until you're pressed. Here's the raw truth, and it needs to be said. Waiting hurts because it makes you examine your heart. At first, when you start praying for a breakthrough, hope is everywhere. Energy's up, you're telling your friends, you're writing journals like you've already made it. But then the days stretch out, weeks become months, delays stack up. All the yes, this is it starts getting replaced with, wait, am I sure I even heard God? Maybe it was just my own wishes rattling in my head. That's when the social media scroll gets dangerous. Everyone else is getting married, getting promoted, launching businesses, buying houses. Meanwhile, you're on the same couch wondering why you're still at the beginning of the race. Trust me, I've been there. Wondering if I missed my turn, if I wasted too much time, if my best was somehow behind me already. But here's what finally shifted for me. One late night on this same couch. It hit me. The wait is the work. It's not time getting wasted while you wait for real life to begin. This is real life. If you skip the waiting, you skip the foundation. It's the season that teaches you to hold what's coming. Without it, we crumble. The waiting is the furnace where God forges the patience, character, and humility that are going to keep us strong when the answers finally show up. So I made a choice. I wasn't going to keep waiting on pause. Instead, I started working while I waited. Reading, learning, serving, whatever I could do while trusting God for the next step. That changed everything. That's why I'm right here, speaking to you now. Because every delay, every not yet, every season where it felt like doors were locked, God used it all. Every piece came together not in my preferred order, but in the exact right timing He had planned. And if you're watching this, living in your wait, feeling like God's late, I get it. But take this from me. He's right on time. When it happens, when the promise finally arrives, you won't just have the blessing. You'll have the backbone and the spirit to carry it too. If this story touches you, if you're in a waiting season, share this with someone who needs it. Drop your own still waiting story in the comments. And if you want to be brave, say it out loud with me. It had to be God. Because when you look back, on your own couch, in your own quiet months or even years from now, you'll see it. Every delay, every door that didn't open, every silent night, they weren't setbacks. They were the shaping, the preparation, the exact ingredients for the next chapter God already saw coming. It had to be God.